Hello commanders, my name is Dan Cover, and in this part of this tutorial series I'm gonna talk bit about your ship and some of the basic functions related to your ship and what some parts do and how to manage systems and stuff like that. So at the moment we are in basic Sidewinder that we can see here. That's your starter ship, and first of all I'm gonna throttle back to 0 like that by pressing the X button. And as you've seen in the previous tutorial where we did a bit of travel around, you have basically two main panels on your ship. I have mapped them to buttons 1 and 2 on my keyboard. So by pressing number 1 I can switch to target panel, and by pressing number 2 I can switch to my system panel. And pressing the shift, that's my back button, focus centers my view back up front. So in the left panel you have a couple of tabs. You have the first tab, navigation, where you can see all the objects in the current star system and couple of star systems that are in your jump range. So basically this last five items are the star systems that you can directly jump to without need to go through some different system. Then here is a couple of planets, and here is the resource extraction site. Then we have a couple of starports, and that's more or less at the top we have the main system star. On the left side you have the option to open the galaxy map and option to open system map. Wait a bit to load it. I haven't opened it yet, so it takes a while. Next time you will open it, it will be much faster. So here we are, here's our system map. Here you can see all the planets, star bases, star ports, and planets that have moons. And basically this is our current star system schematic preview. Okay, exit. Next you have the transactions panel. Here you will have a list your current missions, and if you have some bounties that you can monetize, you will have them listed here, as I have currently a bunch of bounties that I can get paid for. Then we have the contacts list. Here you will have listed all the contacts that are within your sensor range. For example, now we have this just the station that we can lock on, request docking or go back, and two high energy wake residues that are left over from some ships that have jumped out of this system. I'm gonna drive closer to this station just to get closer to get some other ships contacts. You can see in the middle of my screen on this radar there are a couple of dots on it, and they represent other ships in my close proximity. And just to familiarize you how this radar works, these lines that stretch from the small rectangles to to the basically plane of the radar, indicate if the target is either above you or below you. So most of them are above me, and as soon as the one of the contacts starts to be below me, the line will start to go down to the rectangle. So now we're gonna select one of the ships. So this one. I use the scroll wheel to go through all the contacts that are within my range. Or you can, by pressing the button T, select the target that's currently within your front view, like this. So now when we have target selected, we have also Subtargets panel available, which enables us to select different subsystems of that ship. For example, when you will fight someone, you would be able to select his subsystems. And now we lost this target, so we're going to select a different one. And on the last tab you will have view of the target's cargo if you would have cargo scanner installed on your ship. So basically this is a quick run through this target panel. Now we're gonna go through a system panel. Basically on the first panel you have your basic info about your combat trade and explorer rank, your credit balance, how much is your ship rebuy, and if you have any local bounties, and your current status of your local reputation. On the right side of the panel you have the list of all the factions in this system. I'm sorry, not in the system but in general, and what's your status with three major factions: Federation, Empire and Alliance. And on the bottom you have the list of the factions that are currently active in this system. There are some other sub-factions, and it's stated to which major faction they are aligned to. I'm just gonna move us a bit from the stage so we don't crash in it, like this. So now, this is where you can see this info, and by pressing the menu left button, then you can see the system status with the display of influence of each faction in this system, and you can see that this faction is currently on the rise in this system, and her influence is growing while others' influence is dropping in this system. So then on the next panel with your left and right buttons you have your finances, then some statistics about your previous gameplay, and the permits for some systems that require you to have a permit. To obtain the permit for different systems you have to get to a certain rank within the major faction at which the system belongs to. For example, to get a solar system permit, you have to get some rank. I don't remember exactly which one, but I will inform you later. Within the what's it called? Just a minute. Federation, yeah. Sorry. So to get to the Sol system, you need to get allied with the Federation and get the rank. I have a chief petty officer at the moment, and I think that you can even get the permit before that rank. And you obtain the rank by doing the missions for that faction, the missions that you can get on the stations, and I'll talk about the missions in the next episode of this tutorial series. So yeah, this is the first panel. Now you go to the second panel where you have a list of all the modules on your ship, and here you can shut modules offline, on and off, online. And you can change by pressing left and right their priority. With this you can manage your system in the way that, for example, the systems that have priority 1 will always stay powered no matter what. And if your system power exceeds, then all the modules that have the priority lower than 1 will get shut down. So for example, if you put sensors on the priority 3, frame shift on 2, if our power gets lowered, sensors will be turned off automatically first, then all the modules that have priority 2 will get turned off, and lastly these systems that have priority 1 will get turned off. So of course you would arrange those priorities as you need them and as your ship requirements are. For example, for some ships later on, the power plant won't be able to power all your weapons and all your other systems at the same time, so you'll have to manage your systems using this to be able to shoot at enemies. Because as soon as you would deploy the weapons, the system would get overloaded and the stuff will start to shut down. So it's better to have controlled shutdown of the systems that you don't need at the moment than to have a random shutdown of the things that you actually might need. So on the third panel you have the fire groups. Fire groups work in the way that you have two options. You can put some module, for example this pulse laser. Just a second, let me stabilize the ship. Sorry. Okay, so you can put this, now we have the pulse lasers at group 1, and I'm gonna just move away from the stage so I can shoot without getting fined for shooting in non-shoot zone. So give me a second to move away. Come on, recharge it. Yeah, I think that we're far enough. So let's get back to not that one. Let's get back here. So now we have the pulse lasers on group 1, and when I press U to deploy my hard points, our lasers have come up and I can shoot them with my left mouse button. Now if I put one of these lasers on the group 2, and when I press left mouse button only one will shoot, and when I press right mouse button the other will shoot. Now I can add a new group and I can remove this pulse laser from this first group totally and put it on the, let's say that this 1 and 2 are basically left mouse button, right mouse button, or your primary and secondary fire. So now we put this one pulse laser in group number 1 on the primary button, and the other one is in the group number 2 on the primary button, which means that currently I can shoot just one laser with the left mouse button and the right one doesn't do anything because I haven't set anything in the first group to the right button. But now if I switch with button N, I switch to second group, with the left mouse button I can shoot the right laser. but right mouse button also doesn't do anything because we haven't set anything to the right button. So now, for example, I can have it different combination, can have different modules on different groups and stuff like that. So basically, with this, you can have more active elements mapped to basically your two action buttons, primary and secondary. And by switching the fire groups, you can use them in different situations differently. So, for example, one of the examples would be you have your warrant scanner, which allows you to scan enemy ships for bounties. You have it, for example, on button 1, but in the group 2, and on the first group you will have, on the main trigger you will have pulse lasers, and the secondary you will have, for example, multi-cannon or some other weapon that does more damage to hull, and the pulse laser would be to damage the shields, because they do more damage to shields than to the hull. So while fighting, you would first shoot with one button. You would shoot laser, then you would switch with other to your kinetic energy weapon. So this is regarding this fire groups. And next we have the cargo panel, where all of your cargo that you're currently hauling will be listed, and the button you can see your cargo capacity. And the last panel is based some functions where you can retract your landing gear, cargo scoop, and all other things which are self-explanatory, and most of them you already have mapped to buttons. For example, landing gear is on button L and stuff like that, so it's no need to basically use this panel only if you don't need if you need some specific thing. This factions options is available when you're in the conflict zone and you're fighting. Here you basically choose the side that you will be fighting for. And let's see if we missed anything in these two panels. No, basically that's it. That's it regarding these main two panels. In the main view you have your radar, you have the info about the destination or your target. On the right side you have your ship's info, you can see your shield, your hull percentage, and you have these three vertical bars that are power management. And I'm gonna quickly show you how to use this power management. So basically, to use this power management, you use your arrow keys on the keyboard, and with them, by pressing up, you can assign more energy to your engines, so your ship is more maneuverable, you can go faster. By pressing left, you can add more power to your shields. The more power you have in your shields, the more damage they can sustain. So with I'm not exactly sure what the percentages, but with the 4 bars, 4 pips as they call them in the system, your shields could sustain over 100% more damage than without any. And with weapons, your energy powered weapons will be able to shoot longer and without the need to recharge it. And by pressing the button down, it will evenly distribute all the pips to all the systems. And last thing here in user panel is your fuel level, and above it you have your heat signature, and below it you have info about if you're mast locked. So if you're mast locked to anything, you can't activate your FDL, frame shift drive, yeah. And if your landing gear or cargo scoop are activate it. So more or less that's it. On the top, on the top you have your comms menu. I have mapped it to button 5 or null button on my numeric keyboard, where you have a chat, local chat or chat with other players. Then you have a list of your friends who are online or the players who are within your sensor range, and messages and some settings about the comms. And on the right side there's on the top is an info panel where different messages will be displayed and stuff like that. So more or less that's it. I'm gonna retract my weapons and I'm gonna slowly start to go to the station. And just to quickly demonstrate you difference between 0 pips in engine, if you can see I can go at a half speed at the moment, and if I press off button to get the full power to engines, I can go full speed. So basically that way you manage your power depending on what you currently need. If you need to have more shields, you would add more power to shields. If you need more speed, you would add more power to speed, and if you need to shoot longer, you would add more power to weapons. That's it for now. And if you have any other questions, please comment, ask in comments. I will gladly respond, and see you in the next part. Bye bye.